The extent of the bleeding and the pressure of the bleeding indicated instantly to me that her aorta was shot, and her lung as well, because the blood had been flowing through her nose and mouth as well, so her lung was shot as well, and she died very quickly. Then I realized that a crowd was pulling someone towards us, and the mad person was shouting that I didn't want to kill her, and the shout were starting. The people were starting to beat him, and they took off his clothes, his shirt. Then they started discussing what to do with him. They searched his body. They took out his wallet, they took out his ID cards and started shouting, he's a Basij member, he's one of them. They couldn't give him to the police, they believed, that because first of all they would expose themselves, which was extremely dangerous on that day. And also they didn't believe that the police would do anything to him, because the Basij is very powerful and he would easily have gone away. So all of a sudden, in the chaos, they decided to release him.
This ID card, confirmed by Dr. Hijazi as the Basiji at the scene, was later released onto the internet. It identifies him as a Basiji with a 3-day license from the Republican Guard to operate in Tehran. His name and phone number were published too. The number has since been disconnected.
When my father opened the door and saw me full in blood, he thought that something had happened to me and he was scared. I answered with very short sentences without explaining much. And then they turned on the TV, and then it was CNN, and we saw that the film was being showing there with me in it.
This is disturbing. I want everyone to know that.
In the hours since her death, Neda's video had been uploaded onto a computer, posted on YouTube, and was soon seen all around the world.
You've seen this video, what is your reaction?
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And I think that anybody who sees it knows that there's something fundamentally unjust about that.
She was the first person who lost her life in the events and was identified. Somebody was calling her Neda, Neda, and she found the name. So quickly she became like a symbol of all victims of the events.
The government confirms 10 other deaths that day. Hospital sources put the figure at over 30. Some protesters were even buried before their families were notified.
It was around 6 or 7 in the morning when my mobile started ringing. I saw it was Neda's number. But it wasn't her. It was her sister, saying, Caspian, Neda is gone. I couldn't understand what she meant. She tried to explain, but I couldn't believe what she was telling me. Neda's mother got on the phone. She was screaming. I couldn't control myself. I started screaming too.
We were not allowed to hold a wake in her memory. We weren't allowed to put up a notice on a local board to announce her death. None of the mosques would take us. None of the halls or restaurants would give us a place to hold a ceremony in Neda's memory. They wouldn't let us.
The authorities ordered the family and Caspian not to talk to anyone. But Neda's death had changed him, and he ignored them.
آیا هیچ پارچه سبزی، هیچ علامتی چیزی همراه ایشون بود که فکر کنیم کسی که زاره به اصطلاح به اون دلیل به طرف ایشون شلیک کرده؟
ندا هیچی به همراه نداشت، حتی یه تکه سنگ، اهل خشونت و اهل هیچی نبود. نمیدونم آیا مقامات ایران حرفی دارن که بزنن؟
در این حال آماده بودم.
I was ready to get shot through the heart.
یه گلوله هم به قلب من بخوره. یا دستگیر بشه.
Or get arrested. To be honest, I didn't care.
I saw his number and answered it. He was speaking very quietly. It was obvious he had his hand next to the speaker so nobody could hear. He whispered, "They are outside my house. They've come to get me." I said to him, "I'm sure they're listening in on us now. None of us have done anything, so don't be afraid. Go and open the door. If they're outside the door, then they can easily take you anyway, so best to just open it yourself."
Caspian was taken to Evin prison. The regime began a fight back, denying any involvement by government forces in Neda's death.
ماجرای این خانومی که کشته شده و اشک تمساح آقای اوباما براش میریزه و قبل یه مدرکه‌ای راه انداختن. هر عاقلی که این فیلم رو ببینه میبینه کار خود اغتشاشگرانه، کار خود آشوب طلبانه.
First, the official Fars news agency blamed the BBC correspondent John Lyne, saying he'd staged the death for a documentary. Then they reported Neda was still alive and living in Greece. A few days later, after being arrested and interrogated, Neda's music teacher was taken back to the scene of the crime by state TV.
در گزارشی زوایای دیگر این موضوع رو با هم نگاه می‌کنیم.
زیکان خانم آقا سلطان نیز به این مسئله حساس هستند.
اینجا 20 نفر آدم ایستاده بودن، خبری از تظاهرات نبود. اومدیم از عرض خیابون رد شیم که بریم اونجا سوار ماشین بشیم. رسیدیم دقیقاً اینجا تیراندازی نبود، یعنی مأموری هم تو این خیابونه نبود.
With the government denying any involvement in Neda's death, the other key witness decided to speak.
Every life a moment comes that the integrity of some person would be tested. And I realized on that day that this was the moment in my life that I had to choose whether to keep myself safe or prove my integrity.